Um, but I am the founder and CEO of Stronghold Food Pantry. We are headquartered in Kansas. However, because we know that food insecurity is 24% across all service branches, okay? I launched in 2023 an ambassador program, and Amy has had the privilege of, I would say privilege, it's an honor for me that she came on and did her ambassador training and did her documents, and she delivered food to an Air Force military service member, a female out there, and she went into DC and delivered them groceries. That ambassador program allows us to use technology and innovation along with human connection. Because in our community, in the military community, we're away from family, we're away from friends, we're away from support systems. We move every 2 to 3 years and have to rebuild support systems. And the big thing that's always in all the military groups is military spouses saying, I don't have any friends here. I haven't made any connections. How do I make those friends? Where are these resources? So human connection is very big for Stronghold. And that's why our ambassadors are launched across the nation. Some are globally. We're growing every year. But when we deliver a full week's worth of groceries, because I work very closely with dietitians that we're giving the hamburger meat, but we have a full menu with that. There's spaghetti stuff to be able to do. There are breakfast items, lunch items. So when we're able to provide that groceries, the hidden element for us is the fact that there is an ambassador doing that delivery who has lived that life, who knows what not necessarily has been through food insecurity, but they know the military lifestyle. They know that isolation aspect, because food insecurity, it was mentioned earlier with Leslie, there are causal factors that lead into food insecurity, and there are ripple effects. And some of those ripple effects are the isolation, are the mental wellness, that burden. And right now during the holiday season, we see that burden even heighten, because we've got service members that are trying to not only provide healthy, nutritious food on the table, but they're also getting invited to unit organization parties where they have to supply a white elephant gift or bring an extra dish. Kids at school are being asked to provide for that party. And these families, it just keeps stacking on. And then they still have to provide, how do I give my kid a Christmas gift? Oh, new warm coat. We just moved from Hawaii to Kansas. It's brutal here. How do we provide for all those added elements? So Stronghold was truly created just to stand in the gap for our service members. As many folks know, a lot of service members do not qualify for SNAP benefits. And then a lot of the things on installation are for E4 and below. And it's shocking when people know what Stronghold does is we collect raw data. We're getting authentic raw data from people who actually need the services. It's not who's completing random surveys. It's people who actually need the services. And the percentages are quite shocking as to how many are junior enlisted and how many are senior NCOs. And we even service officer families, because here's the thing, everyone has a story. Everyone has a story, and it's different. And we all know that there can be blows and impacts, and we're one big car engine blow up away from feeling that gut punch of having to dip into our savings, or how are we going to pay for this alongside all the other expenses that we do every 2 years when we move. So Stronghold was truly created just to stand in that gap. And we are so honored and so pleased that we can help services across the board, from Coast Guard to Space Force, National Guard, Reserves, Army, Marine Corps. And we take in these applications all day. Over Thanksgiving, we were ecstatic that we could help over 100 families from up and down California to North Carolina and Texas and Virginia. Amy went out, I think, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving to deliver meals or groceries. And it's really, what we do is with intention. And we think of almost every aspect, from mental well-being to feminine hygiene products to how is the kid going to be able to have enough snacks at home in between school and sports. It's very much created with intention, with love, with support in mind. And we always utilize whatever resources we can, from registered dietitians to doctors, anyone who's willing to volunteer their time, so that we can create the right programming for everything that we want to do to support military families. I'm open for questions if there's something specifically you want me to address.
You're awesome, Monica. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted you to just tell everybody, right, because you guys are in Leavenworth, but how can people access information in their area? Can you give them some insight on where to go for that?
Yes, absolutely. So our website's online, strongholdfoodpantry.org. Anything that comes in there from overseas, from across the nation, we will read. I have my hands in a lot of it as well because I like to read what our patrons are saying, what people are asking for, because that helps me develop new programming or tweak old programming if we're not being able to assist people in certain locations. So everything is also confidential. We're a full 501c3 nonprofit. We don't fall under DOD, which is always what service members clinch about, right? That is where I have service member spouses crying on email or in person. My husband just made E5, or we're an officer family. We don't need anyone to find out. Everything is confidential. All of my volunteers who happen to look at information have signed on disclosures, but all our stuff is also, like I said, on our website. Anyone can fill in an application. Anyone can send in an email. We have Facebook, we have Instagram. We get messages across the board from families. And so they can access us that way. They can fill out an application if they need services. The biggest thing is that we grow organically, right? We grow because military families are sharing to other families. And that's how we get folks from Fort Campbell or from Okinawa submit applications. So one of my big asks of military spouses, of military service members, of leadership is just share our resources. Share our resources. Know that we might be small, but we're mighty, right? If you've got military spouses spread out across globally, we're going to get things done. We're going to get things done and we're going to figure out how to do it. And so we are small, but we are mighty. We have the right people in the right roles to be able to get things done. So my big thing is for leadership, for military spouses in local Facebook groups, say, hey, if anyone ever needs any services, we know that Stronghold is able to, if they have funding, right? Everything comes down to funding. If we have the resources, they will help you. They just helped 5 service members in San Diego or what have you. So that is my biggest ask a lot, is share our resources. But they can find us online in any one of our social media avenues, and they can email directly to admin@strongholdfoodpantry.org. And we go through every single request and we figure out how we can make that contact and how we can possibly help them.
Monica, if we're not in a position that we need assistance, but we want to give assistance to other military families, what can we do?
Contact me, because I will find something for you. I will find something. As I messaged Damien, I was like, well, do you want to do me a favor? But no, contact me, because whether it's ambassadorship, whether it's, hey, you know what? Can I just volunteer in a different aspect? I am really good I'm a financial analyst. Can I help you? Absolutely. I've got a spouse at Fort Campbell. I have an administrative executive that helps me through the emails at Camp Lejeune. So there are different roles. And you can also donate through our PayPal, donate through mailing a check. And we are very happy also if you want to earmark that money and say, I would love this to go to Colorado Springs Space Force. Is it Peterson there? Is that what they converted over? Yes. So people can do that because we will make it happen. The San Diego Naval Spouses Club gave us a grant. Well, guess what? We're going to go out there in spring break and we're going to do a full pop-up and we're going to be feeding over 200 families. We will make it happen because it's our mission to make it happen. So if families want to earmark any money that's donated and say, hey, I would only like this for this location, I'll figure out how to get there. We will make it happen.
Can I just put a quick plug in too? I know we have a lot of Charlie Madison fans out there. Stronghold also has a bracelet with Charlie Madison, and proceeds will go to Stronghold. So
yes,
you can support that way if you'd like to. And they're Bronco colors. So if you're a Bronco fan like me, you'll love them.
Everyone keeps saying they're different colors. Like I think a Coast Guard spouse said, those could be our colors. I was like, sure, buy it for the Coast Guard. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say it has to be for Stronghold. I just would appreciate you buying it. So go Broncos.
Does anybody else have any questions for Monica?
And I do apologize that I'm like hiding in a linen closet.
I think it's awesome.
It doesn't actually look like a closet. It looks like
Doesn't.
you've got like a very fancy piece of artwork behind you, even though I think it's a table.
It's a table. Yeah.
Very fancy.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Anybody else? Thanks for joining us, Monica.
Thank you, ladies.
I
for
don't have,
and
I
really
just have a
do
real
appreciate
quick comment,
Yeah.
if that's okay.
Yeah.
Monica, I love what you do. Like, this is what and I didn't know about it. So I'm glad I came tonight because I see so much food insecurity here in the Springs. Not necessarily always with the Space Force, but with the Army and, all the bases we have here. So I just am so excited about learning about this, and I can't wait to share it with, friends and family.
Yes, please do. Because I was telling Amy, I was like, hey, help me spread the word down there because over Thanksgiving, we do a massive national giveaway of all the Thanksgiving fixings, from butter and milk even to make your mashed potatoes. And we do things, like I said, with a lot of intention. So I talk to every family because a lot of our younger service members, they don't know how to make mashed potatoes from scratch. So they might ask me for the boxed mashed potatoes. But I always tell them that if Stronghold is going to spend the money, whether it's $1 or $100 on all of their meals, that I want it to be something they utilize and use and enjoy. I don't want to just give out money and hope they like something. That's not my jam. I want to be a good steward of every dollar that we get in funding. And I was in shock because Colorado Springs was my biggest ask this Thanksgiving by over 20%. It was like just at request after request after request from the Springs. But I told Amy, I was like, but none were Space Force. I was like, do y'all pay that much more? I was like, Amy, help me spread the word, because if other service members there are really struggling, and we get their stories, right? So we collect all of their stories on what it is, why they're struggling. And it's just, I know I've lived in Colorado Springs, but it was over a decade ago and it was still expensive then. And I was like, Amy, there has to be some Space Force families that need us. Like, help me get the word out there. So I love that you popped on here, because that was my biggest light bulb. I was like, I have almost over 20% more applications from Colorado Springs than any other. Second follow-up was California, but it was split between Marine and Navy. And it was split between 3 bases. Like, I can't even pronounce one of the bases way up at the corner. But that came in second. But by far, it was military families in the Springs that were like, we just can't make it here. Like, it's our first duty station. We were in shock to, my kids are in EFMP. I cannot work and it's expensive. My husband's always, working or gone. And it was just heartbreaking. But with that big jump, I was like, there has to be more. Like, and there has to be in other branches. It can't just be the Army installation there or Air Force. And so, yeah, so I hit up Amy and I was like, what's up? Why don't they know about me? Let me help them. That's all I want to do. I want to feed the people. So I would appreciate it if you shared, because I lived there before. It was expensive then. I can't imagine it now. And the stories that I read were just heartbreaking. And when our ambassador went out and delivered food to their homes, she was like, one kid was screaming that they were going to get a Thanksgiving turkey. She was like, there was a grown man, like older than her, like just tears. And he was like, I didn't know what we were going to do. Like, I get to now tell my family we're having Thanksgiving. And one one spouse was ecstatic that, oh, you're not just giving us a box of food of whatever you pick. I was like, no, what do you traditionally make? And one lady was like, well, we make rice. We do this, because they were of a different culture, right? I was like, well, tell me what you want. Tell me what you eat, because I want you to enjoy it. And so we substituted, they don't do sweet potatoes, but we got them when they do Puerto Rican rice. Okay, we will get you stuff for Puerto Rican rice. We do things with intention. I am the daughter of a Vietnam veteran who had to visit a food pantry. And when I got into this line of work, I vowed that it would be different. It would be different than what I experienced. And so everything is created with thought, with compassion, and just detail for detail. It is with intention. How do I service with dignity? How do I service with support? How do I service with compassion? How does Stronghold service and make that patriot feel that they are worthy and that they are more than their situation? The situation does not define our service member and their families. And these situations are not just E4 and below. They are not. And we are just in a culture that doesn't ask and doesn't tell. So, and it's across the board. If there's financial issues, if there are marital issues, if there's health issues, we just don't share, because we don't need anyone to know our business, right? We're in small but big community. And when they come and they just lay their story down, they're like, this is what's been hiding behind my nice house on post. This is what's really going on. Their story makes lasting impact and creates change for me, for Stronghold, to develop new programming. And those stories say safeguarded with us. Their names are never shared. But it is shocking how many people, when they know they're not attached to necessarily military or anyone who's going to share their information, what they come out and say. And what they say, you know what? We just can't make it right now. And when we treat them with a smile and like, that's not a problem. This is a no-brainer for us. What do you need? It creates a cycle of positivity, because the amount of emails I've received saying, you helped us last year, how can we help you this year? Or the amount of volunteers that, like, you helped us last year, we are good, can we start volunteering with you? That cycle of positivity all stemmed from treating them like they're human. They are more than their situation. They are not a burden. Something happened to them. We're all just one massive issue away from feeling that tight budget. And so thank you so much for sharing, because it was meant to be, because I was like, Amy, how do I break in there? So please do. And if you ever want to connect, send me a message, send me an email. Let's see how we can help families down there if they need it.